Hello and welcome to episode 503 of Fergo and The Freak. I'm the bloke from Rugby League Project, Andrew Ferguson. You can find me on Twitter at AndrewRLP. Join me as always as the glorious LeagueFreak. You can also find on Twitter at LeagueFreak. How you going there, mate?
Going very well, Andrew. Look at us, all dressed up in our tuxedos for the big night, the night of nights.
And our almost pants.
Yeah, well, you know, we go with jorts for our special occasions.
Absolutely.
Because we're at the cutting edge of this sort of thing. And tonight we're going to announce the best player in rugby league for 2023.
Yes. Now, please, everyone, sit down, relax. We've now got 57 minutes of shit music from people you've never heard of before.
Yeah, we don't do it like the NRL, hey?
No, we just say, right, everyone sit down, shut up, grab a sausage roll. This shit ain't going to take long.
Exactly. Okay, let's go through this. So what we're going to do is we're going to announce the awards. There's only 5 of them. You don't need heaps of awards when they mean something.
No. This isn't one of those primary school races where everyone gets a fucking award so no one has their feelings hurt.
Exactly.
Yeah. Either you're good enough or you're shit. That's how we go.
100%. Now, these awards have been going for many, many years. They're called the King of Rugby League Awards. I started them on my website in the early 2000s. And I basically wanted to name the best player in the world every year and hope that it would be a snapshot of who the best player actually was in the world as opposed to some other awards that are out there. And I think it's done a pretty good job of that. And then a couple of years ago, me and Andrew sat down and we retroactively handed out awards back to 1992, which is when we both felt comfortable naming the best players in the world going back. So this will be the 2023 awards. The first award is the biggest story of 2023, and it was really hard to go past the Panthers becoming the first 3-time champions since the 1980s. Becoming the best team of the modern era, and it kind of been undisputed now. So that's the biggest story of 2023.
Yeah, I mean, the only team to have done this in the salary cap era without having cheated that we know of so far.
True.
Yeah.
Now, the representative player of the year was the hardest award to give. Me and Andrew just talked about it just then.
Yes.
There was a lot of inconsistencies in the rep scene, even Origin and the international games. But the one player that really I kind of leaned towards was Edwin Apape from PNG. So he's the representative player of the year for 2023.
And can I say, he must have very narrowly pipped Harry Mulligan from Netherlands because the Netherlands fullback played all 5 internationals this year for the Netherlands. 4 tries and 27 goals for 70 points. It was even the top point scorer.
That's awesome.
But look, Pape was insanely good.
Pape was great. There was a couple of games where he was just tearing up the opposition, and that stood out for me. The only other ones that really stood out for me, Thomas Burgess did, but as I said to you before we recorded, I think I was focusing a lot on only a few good runs he did at points in the game. And there were just a lot of inconsistent players at rep level this year. So, yeah, Pape, I thought that he deserved it. The team of the year, how can you not pick Penrith? What they did this year was it took them from being a very, very good team to being a legendary team. It capped off by that comeback in the grand final, which was like watching a supernatural event of some sort.
I'm going to ask you a genuinely serious question about that try that Cleary scored.
Yeah.
Do you think that will become a more replayed try for Panthers fans than Royce's second try?
It probably will, just because of its availability and people knowing about, the age group. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Well, that Royce try, man. The thing about that Royce try, it was kind of weird. Like when when Guy ran onto that ball and he's kind of got through everyone all of a sudden, it was like, oh my God, what's going on? And then,
well, it's basically the fact that you've got a prop. Well, he wasn't a prop at the time. I think he was a second rower MG, but a second rower and a hooker hanging out on the sideline.
Yeah,
at near full time.
And it was like just such an unexpected thing with all of it happening. And then Royce gets the try, and I mean, it was his last game. And a lot of people probably don't remember is that it was really big that it was his last game. It was, I don't know if it was because it hadn't happened for a long time or something, but it was a big part of that match.
He scored 2 tries in the grand final. He'd never done it before in his career.
Yeah. And a lot of people think of him as a captain in that game, but he wasn't. It was Brandy.
That's right. He was. So Royce was the club captain, but he wasn't the first grade captain. And he had been under pressure to keep his spot for the year.
Yeah.
Because I believe Ben Alexander was coming through as the hooker. So he was playing a bit of games off the bench.
Yeah. So, but yeah, like, man, they're 2 nice tries. The other one that gets me is when Luke Priddis went down the blind side and put Luke Rooney in for a try against the Roosters. That was, I think the thing about that is that nobody in that stadium knew that was on except Luke Priddis and Luke Rooney. So I love that try too. So yeah, and basically any time that Crichton touched the ball in the grand final, just pick one, any of them. So yeah, Rookie of the Year. This was between 2 very good young players, 2 young dudes with big careers ahead of them. Obviously, Buller for the Tigers was very, very good, but I know it's going to sound like a homer pick, but I picked Sanai Taruva for the Panthers on the wing, and he probably was going to get a game or 2 in first grade this year. But because of injury, he ended up playing the entire season. He got targeted every single game because no one wanted to kick it to To'o. And you could see he'd really worked well under the high ball leading up to his first grade debut season. And just was fantastic. Like, he was just really rock solid. Didn't really put a foot wrong. Scored a lot of crucial tries this year. Also did a lot of work. Like, if To'o wasn't on the other side of the field, you'd be like, wow, this winger, he gets through a lot of work, doesn't he? And then he played really well in the test matches too. He scored a game-winning try for Fiji. I believe that might have been against, it was the Cook Islands or PNG, I can't quite remember. But yeah, so I picked him, and it was a case of like consistency and really high level consistency as well out of him. So that's why I went with him.
Yes, and the fact he was winning games helps.
It does. And look, a nice situation to go into, let's face it. He walks into the premiership winning team. Yeah. And I think the thing that he didn't put a foot wrong, that was the other thing too. Like, it would have been really easy for him to be out of his depth or anything, and he just slotted right in and just looked fantastic for the entire year. Now, the big one, the King of Rugby League award, the best player in the world. This might have been one of the easiest years ever. It's Nathan Cleary.
It's pretty hard to go past that.
Yeah.
It is. I think there will be people, though, that will still bring up his performances on the rep arena. And to be fair, that there is something to that. I wouldn't put him in the whole Mitchell Pearce category, because Mitchell Pearce he did not perform ever at the rep level. He was just a genuine, good NRL grade player. But Cleary is a rep player. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
He's been unfortunate with the rep teams he's been in, that they've been either in transition or they've been victims of very woeful selection processes.
Yeah, or bad coaching.
So if he can get into a solid, well-trained, properly selected side of players in form, in position, you will start to see him performing that elite level you see at club level on the rep stage, and it'll put everyone everyone's doubts to bed because he will perform there. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
You can't play for 79 minutes in a grand final and pull out the match-winning fucking try on the biggest stage in front of everyone by being shit.
Yeah, and I think that one of the things about his performances, especially Origin level, because he won the World Cup last year. I think the days of, like with Fittler gone, you'd hope that the days of, getting the best halfback in the game and dictating that he has to play like a robot and opposite side of the field from his halves partner and all this silly shit are over, and they just hand him the keys and say, well, you're the halfback, do what you do.
And can I just say, quite surprisingly, just as you announced that, I looked on Twitter right now. It says trending in Australia, Cleary.
Oh, what's it say about him?
Just as he's trending.
It's probably people finding out. There's been a leak of the awards.
Yeah, well, somehow they've heard this podcast. Yeah. We haven't even released the thing yet.
Yeah. So yeah, he's the player of the year. That makes it 3 in a row for him. Last year was really difficult, and he probably just got it.
I've got to ask you, and I know you'll have to go through your archives there. Is he the first player to do it 3 in a row?
No, he's not. Greg Inglis did it 3 in a row.
Yep.
And I believe Andrew Johns did it too. Hang on. No, Andrew Johns didn't do it 3 in a row. So it was him and Greg Inglis, because I'm looking through it right now. Andrew Johns has won it more than anyone else. So Tedesco's won it twice in a row. There's a few players that have won it twice in a row.
Yep.
But yeah, Greg Inglis is the only other one that I can see. Billy Slater won it twice in a row. Andrew Johns twice in a row there. Andrew Johns twice in a row on 2 separate occasions. So yeah, he's one of only 2 players to have won it 3 times in a row.
So that's how you know this is a prestigious award.
Yeah. It's
not even an immortal can match Cleary on this one. Let that sink in.
Joey's first award, let me see. So Brad Fittler won it a few times as well. Andrew Johns won it first in 1998, and then his last time winning it was in 2005. So it's a pretty big, difference between. And that year, coincidentally, Greg Inglis was the Rookie of the Year in 2005. So yeah, Matty Bowens won it once.
Benji?
Yeah, Benji won it. Benji won it in 2010.
See, that's how we know that you don't hate the West Tigers.
Yeah. There's no need. Let me see. In 2005, the team of the year was the West Tigers, and Andrew Johns won the big award for the King of Rugby League. Greg Inglis was the Rookie of the Year. Rep Player of the Year was Andrew Johns, and the biggest story was New Zealand beat Australia to win the 2005 Tri-Series.
Yes.
And that one with Andrew Johns' Origin return, because that was crazy, that Origin return. He played one of his best games ever in that return to Origin.
Definitely.
So yeah.
But there we go. We've wrapped that up pretty quick.
Yeah. We don't drag it out for 2 hours. Because no one wants that.
That's right. They just want all the spoilers.
Exactly. We give you the spoilers here on Fergo.
That's what we do. Well, I mean, that is the most important part of this podcast, done.
Yes.
That's why we put it at the front, so you don't have to listen to the rest of the shit. Because
I hope they do.
Well, of course we do, but, we'll go in hard. Not hard solo hard, but we'll go in hard.
Yeah.
West Tigers have been busy in the news.
Yeah, it's not like them to make a lot of noise and not actually be doing anything. But today,
especially in the off season.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's when they have their best times, when the football's not being played. The news come out today that it's been reported that they're willing to offer Jarome Luai of the Penrith Panthers at least $1.1 million a year on a 4-year deal, which is way, way more than the Panthers were willing to offer. On a per-season basis, and I believe the Panthers were only offering a 2-year deal as well.
Yeah. I did hear reports that the Tigers had actually offered higher than that.
Yeah, it seemed like it was at the higher end at one point.
So maybe they're now bidding against themselves to put the price up even higher for no reason.
Well, the Panthers' offer was reported to be $850,000, which is a pretty good offer. But at probably the lowest scale of a good offer, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think that offers around $1 million are probably his market value. 1.1 million there wouldn't be too many that would be earning more than him. Maybe Cleary. I don't know if Talmalolo on the because he signed that 10-year deal for $1 million a year, but my guess is it's probably aligned a little bit to salary cap increases, so he might be on a little bit more. But
look, the crazy thing here, okay, is this has got nothing to do with Luai's ability, okay? The Tigers need forwards. Okay, their biggest problem for their eternity is defence. And they've never built themselves a top 5 quality defensive pack. They've gone close in 2011. They went close to doing it then. They weren't exactly a feared defensive unit, but that was the best they ever got to being a strong defensive side. 2005, they weren't even that good defensively.
No.
So what you need, obviously, when you're struggling to be a good defensive side, is good quality level forwards that are consistent in their skill level whole way through. So one comes off, another one comes on. You don't lose anything.
Two best forward packs in the whole league, Penrith and Brisbane.
Yeah, the rotation is superb. The depth is great. Good mix of youth and experience. And so the talk is that in order for them to free up enough space to get Luai on this huge deal, they're going to have to release David Klemmer. It's also worth noting that they're in talks to do a swap deal with the Storm, where the Storm will pick up second row Sean Bloor and the Tigers will pick up centre Justin Olam. So in those two decisions alone, the Tigers are losing forwards and not picking any up. Now, I had a bit of a look before, okay, because someone said that the Tigers have plenty of forward depth.
Who said that?
A Tigers fan. And I said, here's a list of the Tigers forwards that have, for 2024, who've played at least 50 NRL games. John Bateman, David Klemmer, Api Corus, Alex Twal, Stefano Utoikamanu. Sean Bloor and Alex Safer are the next most, and they've got just over 40 games each. If you take Klemmer and Bloor out of there, you're then left with four forwards. That's not including the hooker, who have played at least 50 NRL games.
Yeah.
And they've got plenty of depth. So there is no point, and this is not a criticism of Luai at all. Okay, he's obviously elite, and he obviously deserves the money the Tigers have thrown at him. There's no point signing him if the club does not have those for him to do what he does that justifies him getting $1 million a year. Because, he's going to turn up, he's going to be in that side that's going to be constantly on the back foot. And the first thing that's going to happen, every game the Tigers lose because their forwards cannot set a good platform and cannot be good defenders is, well, why are we paying Luai all this fucking money for? He's not even helping us win games. And that is the dumb shit that goes on. And that's why they should not be looking at signing $1 million players to play in the backs or doing trade deals where we swap up a young, potentially genuinely good forward for an aging centre who's been out of form at Melbourne. We shouldn't be doing this. We should be trying to build our forward pack and work our backs around what we've got in the forwards. We've got to try and fix the defence and then work the attack off the back of that. You can't go the other way around.
Yeah, and I mean the other thing I would look at is how many times in the last 20 years has a club gone, and I mean a club that's near the bottom of the ladder, have they gone out and paid, the top dollar for a star from another club, and it's actually been a really good move? Like the only player I can think of where it's actually worked is maybe Greg Inglis. Jonathan Thurston went up to the Cowboys, but he was a young player that was looking for an opportunity. It wasn't like he was a huge dollar move. Callan Pong is one that comes to mind where he went to a poor club, and whether you can say that was a good move or not is up for debate. But I can't think of too many real times where a club that's been near the bottom of the ladder has spent all that money and it's worked out. I mean, I think you look at the Bulldogs as a great example. They've spent, $4 million on a bunch of players, most of them from Penrith, and they come, near the bottom of the ladder again. You kind of, the way to build a team isn't just to splash $1 million on a player, it's to put in the hard yards and the effort and, bring your juniors through, and it takes time. So, yeah, I don't know about it. Like, and this isn't about Luai, as you say, his quality is unquestioned at this point. But in terms of what the Tigers need, they, dare I say, they need a 5-year plan.
Well, I did find an article from 2019, not quite 5 years ago, but it will be soon.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't copy all of it, just the important bit at the start.
Okay.
New West Tigers chairman, Mr. Hat, Chairman Lee, says that there are no excuses for the club not to break its finals drought, and he hopes Latrell Mitchell will be part of the team when it happens. Chairman Lee had already been actively involved in the Tigers as the principal of its major sponsor, and now the joint venture outfit can further tap into his legal and commercial acumen. Wow. Chairman Lee believes he has taken up the role at an opportune time, pointing to the club's financial stability. Hold your sniggers. Plans to open a centre of excellence by 2021. Well, there's the tick. And the fact that Tigers have a $1.7 million war chest to spend on players for next season.
What did they spend it on in 20?
Well, I've got three questions.
Yeah.
Right. It says they've got no excuses for the club not to break its finals drought.
Yeah.
All they've done since then is they've got further and further and further away from finals footy. And I mean that literally. I'm not just saying that as a repetition thing. Their ladder position has got further and further away from being in the finals over the 3 years since then.
Mm-hmm. And all they've come up with is excuses.
Yes. So they had no excuses for the club not to break that drought. No excuses why Latrell Mitchell wouldn't be there. The Tigers withdrew the offer to Latrell Mitchell.
Well, when this news came out today about Jarome Luai, one of the things in the article that was from News Limited, they said it hasn't been signed off by the board. And they made it sound like Benji Marshall made the offer himself, which makes me wonder who the fuck is running things.
Robbie Farah?
I don't know. Because I
feel like the only answer to that question is to make a joke, because I don't think anyone knows the actual answer to that question. Look, the coach should be the one having the ultimate say, but would you, no matter who the absolute phenomenal great player was that the club had, would you be giving them ultimate say over who you signed to the club based on the fact that they've had 0 games coaching experience in their entire history? You know what? How's about we get someone to just be your training wheels just for a year or so before you start, throwing offers around willy-nilly. The club can't really say that, though, because they throw offers around willy-nilly to everybody. So,
I also think the idea that, you sit down with the player and his manager and say, 1.1 million? Okay, okay. I'm going to have to try and sort that out with the board now. It just seems a little bit, if this is what's happened, it seems really unprofessional and would be a real red flag, I would suggest, to every single player. And if this is what's happened with Luai, does this happen with every other player and that's why they can't get anyone?
I know a lot of people have got this impression that players, and I may have said this before in a podcast episode in the past, there's a lot of people out there that think that pretty much all players sign deals purely because they're after the money.
Mm.
And no. But let's look beyond the feeble amounts of money that an NRL player gets and look at something like Formula One, where there's a lot of drivers that are earning several $1 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
And you watch them race you watch Max Verstappen. He won the bloody world title like 3 months ago.
Yeah.
And yet he's still out there and he is still mad keen to win every fucking race. He doesn't need to anymore.
Yeah.
So it's not about the money. The money is a side benefit. It's the cherry on top for a lot of athletes in any sport, any profession. It's the competition that they're there for. It's the winning of games. And it takes a very special, unique human to put, on-field success and the money aside and go, I'm going to go to a club because I want to help out that club who is always shit. I want them to be better. That takes a huge amount of balls and a lot of bravery for a player to do that and to be committed to it. And we're seeing Api Coruscant giving it a red-hot crack at the moment. It's noble beyond belief. But very few players are built that way.
Would Api Coruscant be doing that, though, if the Panthers had a higher amount of money they could have paid him than the West Tigers?
That's the thing. We don't know.
Yeah.
But we can assume that based on the quality of his performances this year.
Oh, he was outstanding. Yeah.
That he is 100% committed to winning games as much as he can and helping the club out as much as he can. He even moved to halfback for a few games to help him out.
Yeah.
So, as far as I'm concerned, I think he would probably move more so because he thought, I've got my success and I don't want to get in the way of a young player coming through or stopping the club from signing another player. We've heard it before. I mean, Farah and Benji themselves, during the absolute peaks when they could have been earning close to $1 million a year, took pay cuts in order to keep their core squad together in the hope that would keep the team together and they would be able to get that second premiership. That's what they did. Instead of getting money for themselves, they put that aside to try and get that success again. And they're not the only ones. Players everywhere have done this, taken pay cuts to keep squads together and things like that. That just goes on and on and on all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of Panthers players did that too. Like Cleary, if he walked in tomorrow and said, I want $2 million, they just have to pay it, He didn't do that. He signed a really, really reasonable deal. I think it was 1.2 million, something like that, which is worth more than. And you look at the likes of James Fisher-Harris, Isaiah To'o, like so many of these players have taken less at the Panthers and not a huge amount less, but enough. They haven't taken the top deal they could have got elsewhere. And, to sort of keep it together. And look, Jarome Luai, I think the thing is here that it is a lot of a difference compared to the West Tigers deal. And, but the other thing to factor in is that if Jarome Luai retired tomorrow, he's a 3-time premiership winner in the best team in the modern era. Like, these players that the Panthers have had, they don't need to achieve anymore at club level, so they can look at the money, and that's all right. Like if he went to the West Tigers, I wouldn't begrudge him at all because, like, what more do you want them to achieve at the club?
Well, that's right. I think that the one thing that he will have to be mindful of is when you come from a club that, especially in the time that he's been there, only knows how to win and going to a club that only knows how to lose.
Yeah.
And having a fan base that is largely very fucking sick of losing.
Mm-hmm.
And then you throw in the fact that he's quite outspoken on social media.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the things he said before and gloating about how much success he's had, that sort of stuff, that will be blown back up in his face immediately. And it's not going to be because of anything he does right or wrong.
Yeah.
Just because he's joining a team that's shit.
Yeah, yeah. But the thing that I wonder about is like, and look, if you win a premiership, you've won a premiership. You've got that forever, you know.
Yeah.
But I wonder what it was like for the likes of, you know, Api Coruscant, Matty Burton, Kickow and the like, when they've been watching this Panthers team go on to do what they did this year. You know, and it's the difference between one premiership, two premierships, or three premierships. I wonder what it felt like. And, you know, we've talked about this before when you don't feel bad for them.
Oh, God, no.
Like they watched them grand finals and were like, oh, it would have been nice to be there in very big houses with nice cars and pools and shit, you know. And
a premiership ring or two on their fingers.
Yeah, and they've already, got a premiership ring. So
I think Coruscant wouldn't have minded so much because he is in his 30s.
Yeah, true.
But I think for Burton, it would hurt.
I think there'd be some level it would hurt, hey?
Yeah, because he's young. I mean, he's got a full career ahead of him. Kickout would be, I think he'd be okay with it, but
I don't know. Like, you think of Kickout's
Burton a little bit.
Kickow's
not to the point where it's going to make him bad.
Yeah, yeah. But Kickow's year this year was basically a write-off. Like, he was injured, and then he gets back into the team. Their season's already over by then, and it was just they terrible end to the year for the Bulldogs. And he didn't really get a chance to have any impact on the season for them either. And it's just a bit of a waste of a year for a dude that, like last year, was unbelievable, just incredible player. And as you say with Burton, like, and there's actually was talk today coming out about there were supposed rumours that he was going to be moved from 5'8" into the centres for the Bulldogs. And he come out and said, no, I want to be a 5'8". I don't know where the rumours started. Feel gold. But that was what was out in the media today. And I wonder what it's like for him to think like, you know, he could be a young 5'8" with 3 premierships and probably would have still been in the Origin teams and all that sort of stuff. And instead, he's going to be very well paid. So don't feel sorry for him. But, you know, his last couple of seasons is just nothing. Doesn't really amount to anything. It's the balance. It's what you've got to weigh up at the end of the day. And it's easier to weigh it up when you've got a premiership ring.
Exactly right. Now, we may as well just put all of the Tigers shit posting together here.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I did a bit of research into the West Tigers statistics and their history.
Did you find some positives?
One.
Oh, nice.
Quite literally.
Oh,
in
nice.
every sense of the word.
Excellent.
So, a few years ago, I was doing these things called cumulative graphs. And with these, what I did is I took the margin for each game and created a total where I added it to their overall history margin.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, for the Tigers, their career, their entire history, the highest that their cumulative margin got was after their second game in the year 2000.
Nice.
That's
what was
when they
it?
picked +1.
So they were +1 in 2000.
Yep, round 2, 2000. That's when they peaked, and it's been negative ever since. Because in round 1, they had a draw with the Broncos.
Mm-hmm.
In round 2, they had a 1-point win. Then after that, all negative. So I did the chart for the West Tigers.
Okay.
It's fucking atrocious. So up until about 2012, 2013, it plateaus.
Yep.
There's a few ups and downs along the way, but it's basically plateaued through there after a shitty first 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was a steady downhill run for the next 10 or so years. And then the last 2.5 years, it's starting to turn into a much more dramatic cliff.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to fall off that cliff if you're a mountain climber.
No. It's pretty horrific. So I then did one for the Magpies, and it's pretty crazy how from, say, 1980 onwards, the Wests Magpies graph is almost a carbon copy of the West Tigers one from 2012, 2013 till now.
Yeah, like eerie.
Yeah, eerily similar. Now, I then went even further because I said the Tigers' total combined margin for all their games is currently minus 2,310 after 585 games. The Wests Magpies total in their entire the Wests Magpies total after the same number of games was minus 876. And that was covering the years 1908 to 1949. It's 42 seasons that covered. The Tigers have been around for 25. All right. At the end of the Wests Magpies history, their total combined margin was minus 3,715. That's after 1,691 games. So at these rates, when the Tigers get to 1,691 games, noting that the Magpies were minus 3715, the Tigers will be at minus 6677.
Wow.
Which means they're close to almost being twice as bad as the Wests Magpies ever were.
When I saw that graph that you put up, I come to a conclusion. And it's not going to start till January 1st, but for the entire 12 months next year, I'm going to call them the Wests Magpies because that's what they are.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Because on the flip side, Balmain, their points differential is in the positive and nearly always has been. And as I said in previous episodes, made the finals in every decade.
Yeah.
And that's even if you include the decade going from 1900 to 1909, still made the finals in that decade. And there was only 2 seasons.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, and like the dramatic fall off of the club over the last number of years it must be one of the worst ever. But yeah, Western Suburbs Wests Magpies, I'll call them Wests Magpies.
They are legitimately in free fall.
Yeah, they are. Yeah,
and in every season they talk about how it's going to be different this year. It's going to be different. So yeah, the difference to last year wasn't as bad.
Yeah, I think, and the other thing is too, like we've talked many times about the last few Western Suburbs Magpies teams and how historically bad they were, and over the last couple of seasons, this West Tigers team has equaled a lot of that, and it's like I just can't see them being better next year either. Like I think they're a worse team next year unless they manage to get Luai early. I don't know. It's
can Luai play at prop?
Well, we've seen he can play both of the. He had that game with Samoa in the World Cup where he was playing both of the halves positions and at one point started playing hooker as well at points. So he can do a lot of stuff, but prop might be a little bit beyond him.
Bit of a stretch?
Yeah, I would think so. He's tough enough to defend at prop, but it's the go forward, it's the hit ups he might have a problem with.
Well, it's something we can work with.
Yeah.
So that's basically that stuff out of the way. The other thing is, I put out my suggestions on what the Tigers should be wearing as their jumper for their 25th year.
Yep.
Because for the last, I can't remember how long, they've been using this very simple V design. It's fine. It doesn't come across as being shitty look or anything like that. But I figured 25 years, how's about we celebrate Balmain and West and go back to the designs that they wore in 1908, which is the hoops design.
Yeah.
Plus, it just looks so much better with black, white, and orange, that hoops design. It looks so neat and tidy. It looks really cool. And, the club won't do it.
No, they won't.
But, I'm handballing a very easy marketing thing to them there. They can make that work because then you can have a Leichhardt jumper, which is predominantly orange, and a Campbelltown one, which is mostly white. Beautiful. You've got every side of the ledger looked after there. I mean, what more have I got to do for Mr. Hat to help him get the sales up?
Seems obvious, huh?
Yeah. I had one more idea.
Okay.
I'm thinking this year that I might buy a membership for a club other than the West Tigers.
Ooh, have you got a club in mind?
No, I haven't. I thought I'd put it out there for the fans.
Now, you wouldn't want to buy a Storm one, would you?
Not really.
Okay, I get that.
Like, I'm not getting a big membership thing either because I probably won't get to go to any games because I work on weekends.
Yeah.
But even if I do get one that might have some tickets in, I'm happy to, give the tickets away.
Oh, really?
So it's more about which club should I give my money to, not just as a protest against the West Tigers, but to show them that I do have money, but I'm choosing not to give it to them.
You should buy platinum Penrith Panthers season tickets, right? And just give them somebody that you know that would go to all the games.
Someone that lives close by?
Yeah, someone that's a big Panthers fan. Now, we know you wouldn't be buying a South membership.
Hey, you know what? I'm willing to do whatever I've got to do to get my point across.
Buy one of the South's Dogs memberships. Who would be? What about you could buy a Dolphins one or a Warriors one, I guess.
Does Mitch Moses have a membership option?
Just a Mitch Moses membership.
Yeah, just a Mitch Moses one.
I don't know who else could you? You don't want to buy a Canberra one. It's like Loserville. You don't want to buy a Dragons one because when eventually the inevitable happens, you don't want to be wrapped up in that.
Well, it's also, I want to help make a point to try and improve the clubs that are going shit. And the Dragons don't want the support of random fans either because they need to change what's going on at their club as well.
I guess you could buy a Sharks one.
Oh, and this has already got one of those.
Okay, what would be the worst one for the West Tigers? It'd be Panthers membership, wouldn't it? Like if you said, if you said to the West Tigers, I'm not buying a membership for you, I'm buying the worst one that's not you. Ooh. They'd probably say, oh, don't buy a Panthers one.
Maybe Manly.
Yeah.
Always been struggling. Our halfback went there.
Yep. Pressure's off him now.
Yeah. Give him a bit of a leg up.
Yeah.
Geez, I wonder if he'll be unleashed this year.
Imagine if he killed it. Imagine if he just all of a sudden was just took control. Just goes to Cherry Evans and says, listen,
I got this, all right?
My team. Yeah.
I got this, old timer. You just sit over there. I'll give you the ball when I want you to have it.
By round 6, Cherry Evans is playing New South Wales Cup, and they're starting to say they're going to do a deal where they send him to the Dolphins or something.
The Tigers.
Yeah, the Tigers. Oh, shit.
Look, well, I actually don't think he'll play that badly. I know I've said it before. I think he'll be – I'm not going to say he's going to be great, but I think he'll probably have one of his better seasons. Not that he's had many good ones. But he'll have one of his better seasons in 2024. Because I think he should have always been a 6. I said it at the time when Moses was still there that Brooks should have been 6 and Moses a 7 because Moses looked like a genuine organiser and Brooks didn't look like he knew how to talk. Like any language.
I think that he will not be playing first grade by round 10. I think
they'll persevere with him because I reckon they've probably paid him more than enough to justify having him in first grade.
But here's what I think, right? I don't think he'll be in first grade by round 10. I think that Schuster will take the 5/8 role. Cherry Evans ain't going anywhere. They've got Jake Arthur who will be, I think he will end up on the bench coming on as a hooker and then a possible halves, because you could put Schuster into the back row and stuff. And I think Seabold is going to be coaching a shitty club because for some reason they keep on signing shitty players from the West Tigers. And he's going to be like, I can't persevere with this shit. I'm going to have to send him back to, New South Wales Cup. And he'll be out playing at Blacktown for Blacktown City or whoever the fuck it is, because they don't have their own New South Wales Cup team.
No,
they go with
Blacktown
Blacktown.
Workers or something.
Blacktown Workers, that's it, yeah. So he'll be playing at fucking something. It's Laybutt Stadium or something. I can't remember what it's called, but so yeah, I think that's how it's going to work. Because I was out on Brooks a couple of years ago, like hard out. I will never come back.
Oh yeah. I do remember that because I remember having this conversation with you at the time, going, "Yeah, he's skill set wise."
I was with you for a bit,
yeah,
and then I wasn't.
I still stand by that though. Skill set wise, he does have the skills to be an NRL player, but it's not just the skills that makes up 50% of your job, especially when you're a halfback. The other 50% is communication and running plays, and he's got none of that.
None of it.
Not even a semblance of understanding any of it. It's like he's gone to his first ever class to learn how to speak Spanish, and he's looking at everyone like they're aliens.
Yeah, pretty much.
How am I supposed to figure this out? And instead of actually listening to them and doing as he's told, he's just standing in the corner, like looking at the floor and kicking the carpet and stuff. I'm wondering why it's not working. Why is this not seeping in?
Mm-hmm.
I won't say anything. I'll just go cook a barbecue. That'll make me feel better.
Just be quiet. Yeah, just fucking whip a barbecue. Speaking of dumb shit, the Rugby Football League has announced overnight the new venue that they're going to spread the word and take.
Oh, can I guess?
Magic Weekend. Their baby Magic Weekend. IMG said we should get rid of Magic Weekend. The Rugby Football League said, no, we're keeping it. It's a great promotional tool. Guess where it is, Andrew?
Berlin.
Think closer to home.
Paris?
Think closer to home.
Edinburgh?
Think closer to home.
London?
Think closer to home.
Salford?
Think closer to home.
Oh, no.
It's
It's
in Leeds.
Oh, no.
It's in Leeds. They're going to hold it at the historic Elland Road, and I say historic because they've got the same sort of seating that they've got at Leichhardt Oval, benches.
Do you have to walk for a mile from a bus station or a train station to get there?
Well, people were describing it and saying that it was basically on an industrial estate.
Yeah, there's no car parking there from memory.
Yeah. So
it's kind of like Leichhardt Oval, but slightly newer.
Pretty much. Yeah. It says everything. Fucking Stonehenge is newer than Leichhardt Oval. So yeah,
it has better seating.
It does. It does. Has way better seating actually.
Why have they chosen Elland Road?
That's a very good question. I don't know.
I wonder if it's because they think it's cheaper.
It will be nice to give the people of Leeds a taste of rugby league football, though. I've heard a lot of people are already booking their holidays in accordance. They're not going to fucking Magic Weekend. They're going elsewhere.
Are they going to go to? Oh, I mean, where would you go? Would you go to Leeds for the weekend, or would you sort of pop out to I don't know, Hunslet maybe? Get out near the water.
Go and check out Sheffield.
Oh, mate, why wouldn't you?
Leeds is the only city I've ever been in where I put in like tourist attractions in Leeds, and it was like a coal mining fucking museum.
Wasn't there an armory or something there?
I don't know. Like, there's just nothing there.
I'm sure there was something like that. I remember going to Leeds, and there was something like an armory or some sort of museum like that. And then there was Aldi.
An Aldi. Probably 15 Nando's as well.
Yeah, the Royal Armouries Museum. I've decided to look it up on the map, and the Royal Armouries Museum is near the river.
There's a river in Leeds, is there?
Yeah, river. Was it River Ale or something? River Aire.
Yeah, who gives a shit? It's just a fucking hole. But
they've got a Leeds Discovery Centre.
Yeah, because everyone's still looking for something interesting.
Check it out. They've got a Nike factory store. You can go and watch kids make shoes.
Oh, nice. So yeah, everyone was pissed off about that overnight over in England. They were basically saying, "Look, just cancel it. Don't do it." But the Rugby Football League, they've really done a really good job with rugby league in the last number of years. It's really dying quickly.
So, I mean, where are they going to go from there?
Well, I suggested Huddersfield.
Well, I mean, you do have to work your way towards Huddersfield, haven't you? You don't want to go there. You don't want to do your load all in one go.
Well, Huddersfield.
You got to work towards Huddersfield.
Huddersfield is literally next door, though.
No.
Like, for us, Huddersfield would be in Leeds, but you know what they're like over in England. They're like, it's 15 feet up the road. It's a completely different place.
You need 15 trains and a bus.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was interesting news overnight out of England. The game is contracting even further over there.
Maybe what they could do is go to, like, Batley. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking of the places I could remember that were around Huddersfield. Batley, Dewsbury, that's about it from memory.
Wakefield, Castleford.
Oh, Wakefield's getting a bit further away.
Yeah, I know, but, you got to have somewhere people know. You got to go to all the great places in fucking Leeds.
You can go to Batley next year.
Mm-hmm.
Then 2020, well, not next year. Next year's Elland Road. So 2025, go to Batley. 2026, go to Dewsbury. 2027, go to Fartown, which I think is just a piece of grass now.
Mm-hmm.
And then the year after that, you can go to, what is it? Gow Farm John Smith Stadium. And then I don't know where you go after that. Maybe after that, they can just play at Huddersfield train station.
It's just very sad to see where the game in England, it's fucking dying really quickly,
Here's an opportunity to take it to Manchester, right?
Mm-hmm.
And base it there for a few years. You're still on the north side, so you're still helping the locals who live around the area get to it without too much drama.
Mm-hmm.
But it's fucking Manchester. Well, it doesn't have to be Manchester, but pick a big city that's not Leeds.
Yeah.
Manchester, Liverpool, you've got a few, Birmingham, you've got a few places there. Just go to one of those.
Well, people tended to people have liked going to Cardiff at times for the Challenge Cup final especially, and they didn't mind going to Newcastle. It would be the worst thing in the world to go and play it at Wembley Stadium. I don't think it would be too bad, but it's now got to the point where they're playing it in fucking Leeds, and it's really sad to see where the game is over there. It is on its arse.
They should go to Rotterdam next year.
They could go anywhere. They might as well just wrap it all up pretty soon.
Go over to the Netherlands. At least the Netherlands are playing a ton of football.
Yeah.
Now, while we're on the subject of shit,
mm-hmm.
Chronic job hopper Nathan Brown lost his gig at Parramatta during the week.
I saw out effective immediately.
Yeah, this bloke couldn't hold down a job at Macca's.
Yeah, I know, right? What was he? He was he was something to do with player development, which is pretty funny.
I believe his job was chief organizer of the crayons. Yeah, and he broke one of them.
It's good that he's not there anymore. It'll be good for the club. The guy
they've brought in Steve Georgalis as the NRLW coach.
Yeah, well, it'll be good. Nathan Brown's gone because he's a loser. He's a terrible coach, and he kills clubs. He's also a bit of an asshole to players for some reason.
No, not to players, just his children.
Well, he blamed his daughter for leaving Newcastle, but he slapped Trent Barrett, which I know was a long time ago, but then he had an issue with a player that left the...
Hang on. Trent Barrett deserved it, though.
Everyone's wanted to slap Trent Barrett at some point.
That's all right. So we can't hold that against him.
Yeah.
He's doing society a favour there.
But he's had issues with players and stuff, and he's just a drama queen. You just don't need that at the club, so it's good that Parramatta got rid of him. I'll tell you some other news. Young Matt Moylan is on his way to play for the Leeds, the Lee Leopards.
Yeah.
They said they'd signed him, a world-class player, they said. So they obviously haven't seen him play for a long time.
If you saw the quote that they came out with, you would swear that Justin Potato said it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, went to the wrong cat. He will kill it over there.
I don't think he will. I think he will go over there and just it'll be all of the worst things of Matt Moylan that we see. Like, just doesn't give a shit, doesn't put in, doesn't defend, probably gets injured. I think he'll be one of the worst signings ever.
Yeah, look, I'm not sure he'll go that badly.
Okay.
Because did they lose Lachlan Lamb?
I can't remember.
Because, I mean, if they did, that's who he'd be replacing. Which is a bit of a worry because he was a halfback.
Yeah, it's always a rough one when you lose your halfback.
Ben Reynolds was a 5'8", so he's going to be replacing one of those two.
Well, I do. I think it'll be terrible. I think it'll be really bad for them.
Well, I mean, that's good news for Toulouse then, because they might actually get promoted then.
As soon as the Lee Leopards, get into the relegation zone.
And what else has been going on in the world of rugby league?
I think that's it.
Yeah. Oh, look, there was people that were making some jokes about all that because I think the London Broncos were not regarded as one of the top teams in the rating system.
Yeah.
Yet got promoted to Super League, so they're probably going to get relegated no matter what they do next year anyway. Did
you see the news that the London Broncos have stopped funding all junior development?
I did hear that, yes.
Yeah. Now, I get it because all these teams are just fighting for survival at this point.
Yeah.
But it just shows where English Rugby League is, and it's funny because I saw people saying, all of these other clubs spend money on junior development. It's like, no, they don't spend money on junior development. They buy juniors from other clubs and they stockpile them.
And if you're smart in that system, that's what you would do.
Exactly.
Why would you spend? Yeah.
And I said, this isn't just the London Broncos making this decision. They're making it in the system the Rugby Football League set up. And the fact that junior development was not part of the rating system was ridiculous from the get-go. Yes. So, I can't blame the London Broncos because they're just trying to make it and stay in Super League. But it's just another sign of where English Rugby League is, really.
Now, there was another thing I saw which I wasn't aware of at the time, but apparently Castleford handled in the incorrect data to IMG, and that was why their rating was so low.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so, get your numbers sorted out before you get relegated fucking permanently next time, Tigers.
It's just something that they had at least a year to look at and gather the information for, and that really is key to their survival in Super League. Why wouldn't you just half-ass it?
Were they the team that chose to withhold crowd figures for 3 months at a time?
Was it them or I thought it was someone else. I felt like it was someone else. Wasn't it Lee?
It might have been. I can't remember. It was one of those bloody teams.
Yeah, it was stupid. Some team that thought they were being clever for doing it for some reason.
Yeah. And all it did was make people go, are you just fudging the numbers then?
Yeah. I saw a lot of people saying they really want the NRL to step in. And there's nothing to buy.
No, the only way it's going to work is the NRL doesn't buy it. They're just given control of it.
Yeah, and they're not liable for anything.
Yeah.
That's the only way it happens. And I think that the NRL would be more likely to say, look, we would rather come over here, set up brand new clubs, and just start with a clean slate. Just come in and just be a layer over the top of what you've got there, and because there's nothing there to buy. There literally is nothing there to buy.
I do want to say this though to the English fans that keep saying that the NRL should buy Super League, and that is, have you seen or heard any of how Peter V'landys runs stuff, especially rugby league?
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of more of the same for you guys. He didn't make the NRL what it is now. He had very little to do with how the NRL is now.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. So he's not the guy to bring you forward and make you better. He just isn't. Some of the guys we've had previously, absolutely. Not all of them, but some of them. But yeah, you do need someone who is, I'd say more business minded, but understands how rugby league works. Kind of like David Smith, but more understanding of what rugby league is, because he had no idea.
Yeah. And look, the problem with English rugby league is there's enough people that don't want there to be changes. There's enough people that are wrapped up in what rugby league was like in the fucking 60s, and that's the vision that they have for the game, and that's a dead game. And we're seeing it. We've watched it. You know, they don't want expansion. They don't want anything. They want everything to stay as it is, and that's just dying. And that's what they're going to get. That's going to happen, unfortunately.
Yep.
So,
and yeah, I think too next year, I know I said before, they should be merging Championship and League One, and any teams that aren't good enough to be in League One, cut them off. Or make them feeders or merge them or whatever, but there's too many teams and too many games. If they want to start saving money and start building, they need to start making the number of teams smaller. You don't need this many. And start having fewer games where possible so that your players aren't being overstretched and getting injured, which therefore means you need more players. And when you've got more players in a lot of teams, it means you've got a weaker product.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is.
I have a feeling you could, if you were the NRL, you could go over there, you could set up like even an 8-team competition, say hold it over winter. And I'm talking about something that's not ideal here. 8-team competition, hold it over winter. You know, you have a final. You draft players in from the current Super League clubs and maybe some fringe first graders from Australia that want to run over the off season. And I think you would make more money with that silly, ramshackle, thrown together brand new club competition than you would out of Super League.
Yeah. I think, though, long term, they will probably look at making Super League a bit bigger. And if they do, what they should do is say, right, we're going to limit ourselves to, 2 teams from each region in the north. So 2 Yorkshire sides, 2 Lancashire sides, right? Instead of having 3 or 4 teams all within a tiny area, we're just going to have 2, right? And just do that so that you're not spreading yourself. You're not just having these big lumps of teams all along the M62, right? You can spread yourselves out, have different areas, and say, right, this is what we're going to lock in for the next 5 years, and then we'll reassess after that. And once you start getting a bit of consistency in the number of teams, and that breeds familiarity, and that's how you build your fan bases, especially with new people coming into the game, which the game desperately needs, is those new faces on the game. And new people put money in there. There's no point constantly jacking up prices and stuff because you're just picking the same pockets that you've been picking for years.
Yeah, and those pockets, they're not paying for the game anymore. There's just not enough money there.
No, and it's not fair on those fans who have been sitting there forking out coins for decades.
Yeah,
on this game, and this is how they get treated in the end. Is they're just getting this substandard product. So that's what they need to look at doing as a minimum, and then start branching out from there. Work from your base and work outwards from there.
If you had to put down 8 clubs, brand new, in wherever you wanted, where would you put them?
You go to the corners first. Work in the middle. You try and get something in Scotland, Ireland, Wales. You want as many people that you possibly can in that very small area. Let's be honest. Getting involved in the game, because that small island, the British Isles and France, that whole area would be smaller than Australia, yeah?
Oh, way smaller.
Yeah. So if Australia can manage to do it with 17 teams and, 25 million people? And how many people are in the British Isles and France?
Yeah.
Fuckloads more?
Yeah.
Yeah. They've got to start being realistic, stop whinging about shit and just go, you know what? The NRL does it with 17 teams over an area. much, much bigger.
Yeah.
Why don't we have 16 teams cover all of the British Isles and France? You can have 2 teams in France. It can definitely handle that.
Yep.
1 in Wales, 1 in Ireland, 1 in Scotland, right? There's 5 teams already. The other 11 teams can come from around England. They don't all have to be in the Northern Hemisphere, the northern part of England. They can be all over England. But you still want to have your strong teams with the strong fan bases around the north, because you work from that base. But yeah, you start looking at having a team, I don't know, London North and London South or something like that. And you look at branching out wherever you can to all the major centres, Manchester, Birmingham, Newcastle, York, wherever you can. 1 team in all those major centres. You could probably get over 2 teams in Manchester if you want to. But yeah, you look at things like that. Try and find out where the money is, where the fan bases are, where the population is, where the stadium already is, so you don't have to worry about sorting that shit out. And just set it in stone for like 5-10 years, something like that, and just go, right, let's go with this. That to me would make more sense than whatever they're working on now, which is it's a steady version of more of the same, but with some gentle changes.
Yeah, and everything's getting smaller. The crowds, the money coming in, just everything's getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. It's crazy to have watched it happen for so long, and even when the warning sign, the canary in the coal mine is like a corpse and has been for years, and they're still like, nah, you just don't understand the game when you suggest things like that. Like the Salford Red Devils, right? They're having an issue with their stadium right now, and they just want to secure being able to play at the stadium in Salford, and they can't do a deal with the council because the council keeps on holding up on it. And it's like, if they don't get this deal done, the club is done. And it's like perfect opportunity for them. Perfect. You've got Salford doesn't want you, right? The club is in a real bad position. You've got an opportunity there. And it's like, this is the perfect chance to become fucking Manchester. Take the whole city. Take it all. They don't want to do it. So it's like, all right then. That's fine.
That stadium holds 12,000 people, and I don't think it's ever had 10,000 people in it for a game that Salford's played in.
It was built for them.
Yeah.
And the council is fucking around because obviously there's so many other things going on in Salford, But yeah, it's like what the biggest signs in the world can be there, and they don't read the signs. And that's why they're in the position they are now. And, and they say, oh, we want the NRL to come in and save us. And it's like, there's nothing to save. It's over.
Yeah. The biggest crowd I can see at Salford, 2012 Challenge Cup. Warrington beat Huddersfield 33-6 at Salford, and they had 9,400 there. Salford didn't even play in that game.
That's fucking hilarious. Oh, boy.
Yeah, so there's a good reason to leave that stadium. It's too small, and the council don't want you there, so just go.
Salford's its own city, by the way. Do you know that?
City is being very, very slanderous. It's a mega city metropolis.
You go on Google Earth, right, and look at that area of the world and see how far you've got to zoom in before Salford's name turns up.
Yeah, I've got to correct you there. It's not Google Earth. It's Google Salford.
Google Salford.
Because Salford is so big, it's been decided by scientists that Earth is going to be renamed Salford.
Might as well. Do the West Tigers play there?
Mate, they're everywhere.
It's just it's so crazy. I used to argue about this sort of stuff and say, should be playing, and I'm just so over it now. I just don't care. It's just like, that happened.
That went on.
They used to play rugby league in England, but now they don't.
Those were the days.
Yeah. As long as we can help France. When it all falls apart in England, we need to be able to step in and help France continue playing rugby league. I think that's important.
Well, that needs to happen.
Yeah.
One other thing I wanted to raise with you, Jackson Hastings has had a bit of chat this week because he said that we should have player names and squad numbers for players on NRL jumpers.
Yeah, I saw that. What a fucking stupid idea that is.
Well, I'm not opposed to the names being on the jumper, but as I said to him, people are accustomed to in Australia, the number being aligned to the position, or even in England. You know, we always know 7 is your halfback.
Yes.
So the biggest problem we're going to get is how many players are going to come in and they want number 23.
Yeah. Look, the number 7 jersey does not belong to Jackson Hastings, you know? And we know that because he didn't play that much for Newcastle. It's just bullshit. It's stupid. We had it in Super League and no one liked it. It was dumb.
Yeah. There were players who wanted to have 100.
Yeah.
They got told, no, it has to be a 2-digit number. So you saw players running out with 99 on their back.
It's just dumb.
Why? People are just taking the piss.
Yeah. Oh, it's a great marketing opportunity. No, it's not.
It's not that great a marketing opportunity. I think if you had a set number on the back of a jumper for a player, it's not going to sell any more jumpers.
No.
Because you can go out and get anything you want printed on the back of a jumper. So what's the marketing thing? I don't get it. But names I get. I'm not opposed to that. But by doing that, you're taking a place there where a sponsor is, and clubs won't be in for that because they want that space on there. It's a billboard. They've got to realise that. It's a billboard that pays for their fucking income.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think the other thing is too that people they're buying their club's jersey. They're not so much buying a player's jersey. And the people that say, oh, look at basketball, they forget the fact that there's 5 fucking players on a basketball court for your team at any one time. And in reality, there's maybe about 7 at most on your club that is relevant. And there's only 1 or 2 jerseys on a club that really sell any amount of jerseys. So it's completely different to basketball. So, yeah, I think Jackson Hastings should just worry about trying to get on the field for the Knights next season.
Or maybe pick up another contract with the Tigers. I hear if Luai doesn't come through, he might be able to pick up $1.1 million over there.
It wouldn't shock me if they overpaid for someone like Jackson Hastings, hey?
Again.
Yeah. Again. Well, look, we're dismissing the Aiden Caesar era here, and that's beneath us, Andrew.
Yeah, we don't normally do that.
Yeah. I mean, it's Aiden Caesar's world, and we just live in it.
It's Salford, and I wonder if we could make that the title of the episode.
Sorry, you cut out there. What did you say?
So it's Aiden Caesar's Salford, and we're just living in it.
Oh shit!
But that's a perfect Caesar Salford.
Caesar Salford, yeah.
That's perfect. I'll leave you to sort that out.
You don't win friends with Salford.
Oh boy. Well, we've nailed all the important hot topics here.
Yeah, it's been a great episode once again. Nathan Cleary, the best player in the world, 2023.
Yes, congratulations to all of the King of Rugby League award winners.
Yes.
Most of you are from Penrith.
Yes, they were.
Who didn't see that coming?
Well, you know.
No. I fully agree with all of them. How could you not?
It's difficult because, like...
there's one more thing we need to talk about.
Oh, what?
Golden Boot Award.
Oh, yeah, because they nominated everyone that's ever played footy.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was the one thing we were talking about before the episode, and you were saying, save it. So I saved it and then forgot about it.
Yeah. They basically said who the I think the players that they said were going to vote on it were like, there was Darren Lockyer, I think James Graham maybe. Who else?
Let me have a look. I'm just doing a search for it now. Would it be on the International Rugby League website?
Probably.
Oh, what a fluke it is. I
think Adam Blair maybe was one.
They've got the criteria.
Oh no, it was Ruben Wiki, I think.
To recognise individual player performances and contribution in sanctioned rugby league international matches in a specified period. To give additional weighting to performances in IRL global events such as the World Cup. Candidates for consideration uphold the best values and integrity of rugby league. There be no restriction in respect of previous winners of the award. That the recipient is recognised by their peers as one of the world's leading current players. Right, well, they're the criteria. Now you know.
Awesome.
Don't come to me and tell me you don't know anymore.
They change it all the time, so.
Yeah, it'll be different next week.
Yeah.
Nominees and judging panel for the 2020 IRL. Yeah, so it's Darren Lockyer, Adrian Morley, Ruben Wiki, James Graham, and Adam Blair. So
there you go.
2 Poms, 2 Kiwis, and an Aussie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we don't want too much Australian influence in rugby league. I mean, we see where that's led the game. It's just the biggest rugby competition on planet Earth.
So did they have the... Here we go. I've got the nominees. How many minutes have we got? Matty Ashton, John Bateman, Jarome Buller, Sua Fa'alongo, James Fisher-Harris, Adam Fanil-Blake, Harry Grant, Payne Haas, Jerome Hughes, Edwin Apape, Tui Lewis, Easton Masters, Ronaldo Mulatalo, Cameron Murray, Charles Nickel-Klostad, Harry Smith, Hamiso Tabuai-Fidau, and Joey Tapain. So who's going to win?
I think, as I said, I think they'll give it to a Pom.
John Bateman.
I think they will.
Imagine that. John Bateman could have it, and then that means that the West Tigers could say that they've got the best player in the world next year.
That would be pretty funny, yeah.
That's a great story. I want that to happen.
It's
not Jerome Buller, because he would have been a lot better for it. It's got to be Bateman.
Wouldn't it be funny if all of the players, like they put or the judges, they put their nominations in, and then they just give it to John Bateman, and then it comes out like somebody in the media asks everyone who they nominated, and no one nominated John Bateman as the winner. That would be great. That would sum up that award so well.
I'd like it if they all put in their nominations and every single person got the same number of votes. How come there's not a single player from the Netherlands there?
Because the International Rugby League doesn't care about anybody that's not them.
Won all 5 games. They've only lost 1 game since 2016.
Exactly.
Best International Rugby League team in the world.
Highest winning percentage, you would think. Who else would have a winning percentage like them?
I don't know. I mean, you consider that it's only them and Germany who I believe have played at least 1 international match every year since 2016.
There you go.
That should count for something. But you know what they did in 2020 when there was no international matches other than Netherlands versus Germany?
What?
No golden boot.
Yep.
They organised that game.
I gave a Rep Player of the Year.
Indeed you did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, that's why you have more credibility than International Rugby League.
100%, but that's not difficult. That's really fucking easy.
Oh boy. Yeah. It's going to be fast school again, but yeah, I'll give it to a Pom.
Yeah.
Because I mean, why not?
Well, look, if the whole Test series between England and Tonga was just a marketing exercise, it wasn't about sport, and so they might as well keep it going.
Well, I mean, that was the only international football that was played.
According to them, yeah.
Yeah. So, well done, John Bateman.
If it's him, I'm going to go off my head.
Oh, that's even more reason for it to be you.
I fucking Hey, International Rugby League, I fucking dare you. I dare you.
Oh, please, International. I'll send some emails.
I dare. You know what would be funny? It wouldn't even be the silliest English person that they've given the award to. It wouldn't even be in the top 3 silliest.
Well, no, the last one. Remember when they gave it to Tommy Mackinson in 2018?
That's so silly. That was...
Hey, let's play a bit of trivia. Can you name all of the Poms who have won the Golden Boot Award?
Mackinson, Sinfield.
There's been 5.
Morley.
No, not Morley.
Hey?
Not Morley.
They didn't give it to Morley?
No.
Oh, no, I'm thinking... no, Andy Farrell, I mean.
Yes.
Hanley.
Yes.
And Andy Gregory?
No.
What's...
Do you want a clue?
49.
49.
49, they give it to him.
They gave it to 49.
Yeah.
In 1990.
It's
not like, Wally Lewis wasn't playing.
I know, right? It's just so dumb. It's so fucking stupid. I can't believe people reference it still.
And then they didn't bother with giving it out from 1991 to 1998.
Yeah.
Who cares?
It just doesn't matter when it doesn't matter. Did they gave it to Cooper Cronk one year, I think?
Yeah, 2016.
Yeah. When was Cooper Cronk ever the best player in the world? He wasn't even the best player in his fucking known team.
Someone go and find me a highlights reel of all the great stuff he did in the football field.
Exactly.
Look, there's probably one out there somewhere. You know what has never happened, though? The Golden Boot Player of the Year has never been a prop.
How many props have got the...
Because all the ones who have got it have been playing. Who might have gone to prop were second rows when they won it. Or locks.
Yeah, well, I saw a lot of people saying James Fisher-Harris, and I just don't think he was the best player in international footy this year.
No, you can basically wipe out all of the front rowers from this list.
Yeah.
If they named any.
I'm just looking.
Payne Haas is out.
Yep.
Fanua Blake's out. Fisher-Harris is out. You know who's not out? John Bateman.
Yeah. I dare them. I fucking dare them.
Oh, come on.
I don't think they've got the balls to do it, Andrew.
Oh, well, if they could do Mackinson, they can do Bateman.
I named Paul Gallen in 2011 the Player of the Year. I shouldn't need to put an asterisk on that. I'm just seeing if there's ever been a prop that's won my Player of the Year award outside of Gallen, because he was playing prop that year. No, there isn't. The closest would be Jason Tomalolo, but he's a lock. He won it one year, 2017.
I just saw a note next to number 49.
What?
Retrospective award made in 2011.
Get fucked. You're joking.
Yeah. So they named the 1990 Golden Boot Player of the Year award in 2011.
I don't mind them going back and doing that, all right? Because you and me did that.
But they
for my award, right? But to give it to 49 and not give it to like Wally Lewis. Silly.
Well, it doesn't even have to be Wally Lewis, but you can rattle off the long list of players who were playing in 1990 in Australia and New Zealand even, who deserve that award. Hell, even Ellery Hanley in 1990 was better than Gary Schofield.
Yes. I agree. But,
But it's the comedy show.
It really is. I don't know why people reference it, because it doesn't mean anything.
That's something to get the shits over other than journos being dickheads.
Yeah, that's a good point.
We won't go any further on that one. All right, well, look, we'll wrap this one up. Thanks for joining us on this chat, everybody. This gentle little hour and a half chat almost. Make sure you check us out on all the socials and subscribe and like all the videos on YouTube. And we'll catch you all next time.